Have you seen the new show? It's on Tubu. It's literally on Hebe. It's on Pootie with ads. It's literally on Dippy. You can probably find it on Weno. Dude, it's on Gumpy. It's a Phoebo original. It's on Poob. You can watch it on Poob. You can go to Poob and watch it. Log on to Poob right now. Go to Poob, dive into Poob. You can Poob it. It's on Poob. Poob has it for you. Poob has it for you. I originally thought this was written out to call out the absurdity of how many different streaming sites there are. I thought the part saying you can just go watch it on Tubu, it's literally on Hebe, it's on Pootie with ads, was making fun of the fact that it can be annoying when you hear about a show you want to watch and you're stuck signing up for some random streaming service just to watch a single show or movie. Looking back on it, I get that it's more of a play on words with how orcs talk in fantasy settings, with the streaming sites being the silly way that orcs talk sometimes. But it still got me thinking about streaming services in general, and how disorganized and clunky they are. It also made me think about how nowadays it is genuinely so much easier to watch shows and movies through the unofficial means. And I genuinely mean that it is so much quicker to watch something that's been downloaded illegally versus something that is officially owned by a streaming service. I can get a show loaded up on my computer or Xbox in like 1 to 3 minutes easy. While if I wanted to watch that same show officially, then I'd have to Google what it's on, type in the website, sign up for it, go and find my credit card, type all that information in, and then maybe approve an email or something for that site. Now, imagine doing that entire process with a series like Pokemon. It's not something I ever watched, but I saw in this article by The Gamer that this would be the best way to watch the Pokemon series by subscribing or even getting a free trial to all these different sites. And while a free trial seems like a cheap and easy way, they do bank on the possibility that you will forget about it. Then, next thing you know, it's been 2 months later, and you've been paying for a site that you don't even use. And you know, looking at this picture, it's pretty easy to think, oh well, I really only need Amazon Prime, with an add-on, and Netflix to watch these. But the rights to Pokemon can be bought by any company at any time. If Amazon decides that holding on to their Pokemon season isn't really worth it anymore, then another streaming service could come along and take those seasons. Or maybe that same streaming service would instead want to only take seasons 20 to 22, which would add yet another site that you have to pay for, or at least sign up for. And I'm sure Pokemon isn't the only show that's subjected to this. Long shows seem like they're especially prone to being split up by a million different streaming sites. But still, the second it gets to a point where you need multiple subscriptions to watch a show, it has already become not worth the hassle. But using a few random websites, I can get the entirety of the Pokemon series in a single place. I'd list out some of the sites that I would hypothetically use if I were interested in watching this content for free, but I wouldn't want them to get taken down. And also, I don't actually know any sites. I was just being silly. Everyone knows that pirating from large million-dollar corporations that in no way consider the consumer when making decisions is a morally reprehensible thing to do. But if I were interested in doing something like this, I would probably just look up where to watch the Pokemon series for free, Reddit. I'd probably get some good answers there. Now, of course, with websites like this, there is the risk of getting a virus or some other computer issue. But these are pretty easily avoided depending on what you're watching it on. For computers, antiviruses do exist, and in my experience, aren't too expensive. Or at least a lot cheaper than subscribing to 100 different streaming sites. Along with that, there are ad blocker web browsers you can download on your phone for free, or just use something like an Xbox. The point I'm trying to get at here is that while it is still very annoying to use these unofficial means, it's still quicker, and more importantly, cheaper. And the fact that it is a better deal to risk a virus or some other type of computer sickness, it just shows how ridiculous the streaming scene has gotten. I don't think the problem of companies being greedy and doing whatever it takes to earn money starts and stops with all these different streaming services, but it has hit the TV show and movie market especially hard, and I fully believe that it's only gonna get worse. Streaming services are constantly going to hike up their prices, and new ones are being created all the time. And those new services are constantly buying up the rights to shows or to parts of shows. I don't think anyone cared when it was just a handful of services that existed. You know, back when it was just like Hulu, Netflix, Amazon, and like 2 or so more. Because that handful of streaming sites was still cheaper than a huge cable package. I mean, that was the appeal of it back then. But now we've circled back around to these streaming sites just being cumbersome. You're stuck with the same old issue of what I want to watch isn't available to me and it's too expensive to buy. So now I'm just going to sit here and watch something that I don't care about instead. It's another example of a market that was created out of convenience but ultimately became what it tried to fight against. Streaming services just aren't worth it anymore, and with how easy it is to watch something through those previously mentioned unofficial means, it feels silly to even bother with it. I've recommended a movie I really liked to a family member, but the first question they ask is what streaming service it's on. And next thing you know, it's on a service that they don't have, and now they won't ever bother to watch it. Now take that exact situation with any single show you think looks interesting or a movie you want to watch, and repeat it over and over and over again. I know after seeing that Netflix had less and less shows I wanted to watch, I pretty quickly figured out that you can find it all online. And I have maybe, hypothetically, very possibly not used a streaming site since. And I was like 13 at the time I decided to switch over. It reminds me of a quote that Gabe Newell said. He's the creator, or at least CEO of Steam. He said that piracy is almost always a service problem, not a pricing problem. And I think this quote sums up the stupidity surrounding streaming sites really well. I mean, look at how Steam does it. Almost every game is on there. While you could go through other websites, why would you ever bother? Odds are Steam either does have what you're looking for, or whatever game you want will eventually be ported over to it. It just goes to show that people don't mind paying for whatever service they want. The real issue stems from the fact that the service itself is so lackluster and bare bones that people choose not to bother with it at all. Anyways, this video is not in support of piracy. I simply put all this together so that I could point out the ridiculousness of streaming sites and how they function. But yeah, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. It's my only form of emotional validation. Okay, bye.